All right, guys, we got exactly 19 days to get the Bass Cat done before my first tournament. As you saw in the last video, we put on the new Mercury, but we didn't get it hooked up. So today I brought my buddy Mark, who's actually a marine mechanic. He's gonna help me get the throttle cables in, linkage cables, trim tabs. We're gonna get as much as we possibly can done so that we can get this thing ready to hit the water. Like I said, we got 19 days. This boat is far from being done, but I believe we can make it happen. We honestly have no choice. So me and Mark are gonna get to work. I'll show you guys what we're doing, and good to see your face. Let's get it. Oh, I feel like I pulled my my groin when I kicked the door open, dude. You like this? This is how we're getting stretchy for the wires on the boat. To give you guys a lowdown, we have some throttle cables, shift cables, brand new OEM. So we're gonna start by running them through the boat. We also got a bunch of extra wire for trim tabs. So like right now we just gotta get everything wired up and then we'll get it installed. We'll see how this goes. I left everything in here, so hopefully it should be easy.
Pull right through.
Should pull right through. This boat is like the biggest pain in the butt to run cables through. We got the throttle cable and the shift cable in. These are trim cables. So we're gonna run this heat shrink down now. While we wait for that to cool down, I want you guys to know that today's video is brought to you by Solder Stick. Solder Stick is a wire connector that makes your job easy. Simply take 2 wires, put them in each end, and apply heat. After applying heat, your wires will literally solder together. I love these connectors. I've used them on my trim cables. I'm gonna be using them throughout my whole boat and my dashboard. They work really great. Solder Stick is easy to use, and if you guys wanna try them out, you can save 20% right now by using my code. Not only can you save 20% with my code, but when you get a box, they even come with an extra coupon to receive 15% off the following box. That's a lot of savings. If you guys are interested in trying Solder Stick, there's a link in my description below. Thank you, Solder Stick, for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to wiring. All right, we got an update for you guys. We had a couple, what are you waving hi over here, Buck? This is my dog, Buck, Shop Dog. So last night, me and Mark were hooking up the motor and this shift control. We wanted to start it up for you guys, but it started raining. So this is where we left off. Although it's installed and we're good to go, we ran into some issues. So let me show you guys what kind of happened. So if you guys take a look here, this is the control we set up. This is actually an OEM Mercury controller for that motor. The guy gave it to me when I bought it, but unfortunately it's not made for this kind of boat. Originally when I bought this boat, it was made for a hot foot, which is like a gas pedal that goes underneath the dashboard. So I tried to go with this kind of setup, but this boat is actually made to be used with what's called a concealed controller, which is a shifter like this, but all the controls are on the inside of the boat, and the only thing that sticks out is your shift lever. Well, given that we don't have one of those, this is the issue we ran into. If you guys take a look down here, all my cables and wires kind of bend out of the hull, and that is not ideal. You typically don't want any kind of kink or any kind of bend in your control or your throttle cable. Although I can shift into drive, it's a little hard to push the throttle down, and although I can shift into reverse, it's just, there's tension on it, unwanted tension. From what I understand, that's caused from the bending of these cables. So we had to figure out a way to fix this, but we just went ahead, left it, and we're gonna pause because Mark's a marine mechanic. Before we go ahead and veto the OEM shifter, he's looking into other options. If you guys have any ideas, leave a comment down below for me. But aside from that, we do have power hooked up. You hear that beep? I haven't started it up yet. Yesterday it was raining. I didn't want to take it out and get everything all wet. So hopefully by the end of today's video, we can get this thing out of the garage and fire it up and cross our fingers that the motor I bought actually works. But until then, we're gonna fabricate some custom seats right now, and then we're gonna run some more wires. So let's get to it. As you guys know, I bought these seats on Amazon months ago when I was in Nebraska. These seats were pretty much the only affordable option for getting new seats, but they don't fit at all. So the issue we're running into with the other seats is the bottom is supposed to be mounted from these brackets right here, and the back is supposed to be mounted through the back of the seat into the actual boat. If I screw this directly into here, then I can't open this because of where the bottom of the seat is. But also if I put a screw through here, This right here, where the screw would go, is my live well. So I would have a big hole in my live well and water would come out everywhere. So the solution I've come up with is by taking a big piece of metal angle, and what we're gonna do here is we're going to attach it to the back of the chair and then to the bottom of this chair. So looking over here, you guys will see that it'll be attached to the seat. It'll basically make the whole thing like one solid seat rather than two pieces. So I don't know if that's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. This hurts my soul a little bit because these seats were $600, and the way that these seats were literally designed was to put a screw through the seat and to have it come out the back of the upholstery. Don't know why that was a good idea, but that's how they're designed. And just for those of you in the comment section who are gonna tell me I'm an idiot, I looked at the manufacturer's video and that is 100% how they go on, so just saying. Oh, this one hurts, dude. Gotta pay to play, right? Here we go, final product. We have two pieces of angle screwed into the seats. This is a little funky how I did this. Let me know your guys' opinions. I screwed them in the back with washers. I felt like washers would help it, you know, not rip, but I don't know. That's really the only option we had. I know it sounds silly and looks ridiculous, but that's how they're supposed to be mounted. Well, the angle, they're not supposed to be mounted, but they're supposed to be screwed into the back of wood or whatever you might mount them. But if you guys take a look here, they're gonna screw in here, and this will go right on top, and we'll have ourselves a full deck of seats. So now we have to get the wires for the trim hooked up. So let's go ahead and do that. Earlier, me and Mark ran these 3 wires. We have the blue for up, the green for down, and then we have red, which is our hot. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna hook these up to what I believe is the connection for the trim on this motor. I'm very unfamiliar with this particular motor, but I believe these solenoids here are connected and they left these 2 for trim. We're gonna put connectors on, we're gonna try it, and hopefully it's gonna work. Give you guys a little bit of crimp ASMR. If I'm correct, we should be able to plug this one in here, and we should have, I think, trim up here. Alrighty, here we go. Yes, sir. I think the last thing we're gonna do today before we get that motor started is hook up our Minn Kota trolling motor. I just sent over a bunch of pieces to Tiny Boat Nation. Shout out Tiny Boat Nation. They're gonna be CNCing me like a bunch of new panels for this boat. So while they're doing that, I have to run the new wire so that we can get power from the battery, which is going to be in the back of the boat. I think this is 10 gauge. I made sure I got the good stuff. I left a lot of the old wiring in there for this particular reason, because this boat was actually built around everything. There's really no easy way into the hull. We're gonna use it as a fish wire. Get this thing taken together tight. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that, new wire. If you're gonna redo a boat, I highly recommend cutting the old wire, but leaving it where it was, because you never know when you're gonna need it to pull new stuff through. Now the moment I know you guys have all been waiting for. We're gonna pull the boat out, hook it up to some muffs, and we're gonna see if the motor that I bought off Facebook Marketplace actually runs. This will be the very first time we try to start it since I picked it up in Kentucky. I mean, it ran when I picked it up, but you never know. So we're gonna cross our fingers after we hooked it up to everything that this thing actually starts. So watch out, Buck. It ran over your backpack.
Did it actually?
Well, it hit it. What's in it?
My MacBook.
Oh, no. No, not the MacBook.
Oh, we're good.
Oh, holy poop. It didn't hit it hard.
All right, so we got to do this quick because it's looking like it's about to storm. The weather here recently hasn't been ideal for stuff like this. But I want to get this thing hooked up, make sure it runs. We're going to hook up the muffs. Trying to work fast too because it's like starting to drizzle, of course. It was like perfect. And then now it starts to drizzle. Okay. Got water hooked up. So I'm going to have you look right here. These yellow hoses, when I choke it, should send fuel through here. Come here, Buck. Rain, open that door. We gotta run at my dog. We gotta do this before it rains. All right, go in there. Oh, come here. Oh, he knocked, oh my gosh. Okay, anyways. So I'm gonna choke it. Keep an eye on this, make sure fuel goes through it. When it does, let me know. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and choke it at the key. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys. First start of the new motor on the Bass Cat. This is a big deal. Here we go. Oh man. 1, 2, 3. Well, it's starting to rain pretty bad, so we're gonna get this thing back inside and then we'll talk about this motor. I know that was short and sweet, but we had to get the boat inside. It started pouring rain. The weather's just been terrible recently, but she rips. First crank. It's an 04 and it turns over first crank. And I have it hooked up to, you know, the little basic tank because I don't have the big tanks hooked up yet. I'm content. So far, so good as far as the money spent. We're getting there. We got motor hooked up. We gotta play with the shift in the throttle cable a little bit. We have the trolling motor essentially hooked up. Wires ran, ready to be hooked up to a battery. We just gotta get the dashboard together, the live wells together. We're like, in your guys' time, one video away from getting this boat on the water and fishing a tournament. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below, should the first time that I take this boat out on the water be during the tournament? I know a lot of you guys are like, dude, why would you do that? What if you have issues? But hey, sometimes you just gotta send it. So if I'm cutting it close to that date, the very first time we use this boat on the water might be for the tournament. How epic would that be? First time running the Bass Cat, maybe winning a tournament, first time fishing a tournament this year? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here for the Bass Cat. We're gonna have some sweet videos coming up aside from the Bass Cat, but I know you guys love this thing just as much as I do. So if you guys are new here, do me a favor, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.